You are listening to one of the sections of the book Tiered Tales 2. This book contains stories that are graded at level B1 and based on the vocabulary taught in different units of the book Oxford Word Skills Intermediate Vocabulary, 2nd edition. These stories help you learn English and memorize words better. You can listen to each story with 2 different accents, American and British. This method helps you recognize the pronunciation differences and improve your listening skill. I hope you enjoy listening to these stories. If you want to know more about the book Tiered Tales 2 and other books in this series, you can visit the website, Amazon, or other online bookstores and buy the printed or electronic versions of them. Please subscribe, tell your friends, and like this channel. Also share your comments and suggestions with us. We always appreciate hearing from you. Thank you for your support.
A Change of Heart. Based on Unit 73 of Oxford Word Skills, Intermediate, 2nd edition, link words. A change of heart. Jack had always been an avid hiker and a nature enthusiast. Since he was a child, he had explored the lush forests and serene lakes near his hometown. His love for the great outdoors had grown over the years, because he found solace in the beauty of the natural world. One day, as Jack was planning his next hiking trip, he decided to tackle a more challenging trail, one that led to a breathtaking mountain peak. As he reviewed the trail map and prepared his gear, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation. As a result of his meticulous preparation, Jack set off early in the morning, ready to conquer the rugged terrain. He knew it would be a physically demanding journey, but he was determined to reach the summit and take in the panoramic views. The hike started well, with Jack navigating the rocky paths and steep inclines with ease. The air was crisp, and the natural beauty that surrounded him was awe-inspiring. So far, everything was going according to plan. Due to the challenging nature of the trail, Jack had the whole place to himself, which he found quite appealing. It was a chance to connect with nature and find inner peace. Plus, he had always enjoyed the solitude that the wilderness offered. As well, Jack had brought along his trusty camera to capture the scenic vistas he encountered along the way. He was not only a hiker but also an amateur photographer, and he relished the opportunity to document the beauty of the landscape. Also, he had packed a delicious picnic lunch to enjoy at the summit. He knew that a satisfying meal would be a well-deserved reward after hours of hiking. He couldn't wait to savor the flavors of his homemade sandwiches and fresh fruit. Jack's journey continued, and he made good progress. Not only was he physically fit, but he was also mentally prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. He was determined to conquer this trail and enjoy the sense of accomplishment that would come with it. In addition to the physical demands, Jack faced occasional obstacles such as fallen tree branches and slippery rocks. As a consequence of his experience as a hiker, he knew how to navigate these challenges with grace and caution. However, as though the mountain sensed his determination, the weather began to change. Dark clouds rolled in, and the sky grew overcast. Though Jack had checked the weather forecast before starting his hike, he knew that mountain weather could be unpredictable. Even though he had initially intended to reach the summit, Jack realized that it might not be safe to continue in these conditions. Despite his strong desire to conquer the peak, he knew that his safety should always come first. In spite of the disappointment he felt, Jack made the difficult decision to turn back. He knew that attempting to reach the summit in bad weather could be dangerous, and he didn't want to risk his well-being. On the other hand, as he retraced his steps, Jack couldn't help but appreciate the beauty of the trail from a different perspective. The forest seemed even more enchanting in the soft light of the overcast sky, and the mist that hung in the air added a mystical quality to the landscape. Despite that, Jack couldn't shake off the feeling of disappointment. He had set out with a clear goal in mind, and in spite of that, he had been forced to abandon it. However, he reminded himself that sometimes, nature had its own plans, and it was important to respect its power. However, all the same, as Jack made his way back to the trailhead, he felt a sense of contentment and gratitude. He had experienced the majesty of the mountain, even if he hadn't reached the summit. He had learned that nature could be both a challenge and a source of inspiration. As he drove home, Jack couldn't help but smile. He knew that he would return to the mountains another day, ready to face new challenges and discover new adventures. Because in the end, it was the journey that mattered most, and he had enjoyed every step of it.
Thank you for being with us. Now listen to the story with my English accent. A Change of Heart. Based on Unit 73 of Oxford Word Skills, Intermediate, 2nd edition, link words. A change of heart. Jack had always been an avid hiker and a nature enthusiast. Since he was a child, he had explored the lush forests and serene lakes near his hometown. His love for the great outdoors had grown over the years, because he found solace in the beauty of the natural world. One day, as Jack was planning his next hiking trip, he decided to tackle a more challenging trail, one that led to a breathtaking mountain peak. As he reviewed the trail map and prepared his gear, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation. As a result of his meticulous preparation, Jack set off early in the morning, ready to conquer the rugged terrain. He knew it would be a physically demanding journey, but he was determined to reach the summit and take in the panoramic views. The hike started well, with Jack navigating the rocky paths and steep inclines with ease. The air was crisp, and the natural beauty that surrounded him was awe-inspiring. So far, everything was going according to plan. Due to the challenging nature of the trail, Jack had the whole place to himself, which he found quite appealing. It was a chance to connect with nature and find inner peace. Plus, he had always enjoyed the solitude that the wilderness offered. As well, Jack had brought along his trusty camera to capture the scenic vistas he encountered along the way. He was not only a hiker but also an amateur photographer, and he relished the opportunity to document the beauty of the landscape. Also, he had packed a delicious picnic lunch to enjoy at the summit. He knew that a satisfying meal would be a well-deserved reward after hours of hiking. He couldn't wait to savor the flavors of his homemade sandwiches and fresh fruit. Jack's journey continued, and he made good progress. Not only was he physically fit, but he was also mentally prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. He was determined to conquer this trail and enjoy the sense of accomplishment that would come with it. In addition to the physical demands, Jack faced occasional obstacles such as fallen tree branches and slippery rocks. As a consequence of his experience as a hiker, he knew how to navigate these challenges with grace and caution. However, as though the mountain sensed his determination, the weather began to change. Dark clouds rolled in, and the sky grew overcast. Though Jack had checked the weather forecast before starting his hike, he knew that mountain weather could be unpredictable. Even though he had initially intended to reach the summit, Jack realized that it might not be safe to continue in these conditions. Despite his strong desire to conquer the peak, he knew that his safety should always come first. In spite of the disappointment he felt, Jack made the difficult decision to turn back. He knew that attempting to reach the summit in bad weather could be dangerous, and he didn't want to risk his well-being. On the other hand, as he retraced his steps, Jack couldn't help but appreciate the beauty of the trail from a different perspective. The forest seemed even more enchanting in the soft light of the overcast sky, and the mist that hung in the air added a mystical quality to the landscape. Despite that, Jack couldn't shake off the feeling of disappointment. He had set out with a clear goal in mind, and in spite of that, he had been forced to abandon it. However, he reminded himself that sometimes, nature had its own plans, and it was important to respect its power. However, all the same, as Jack made his way back to the trailhead, he felt a sense of contentment and gratitude. He had experienced the majesty of the mountain, even if he hadn't reached the summit. He had learned that nature could be both a challenge and a source of inspiration. As he drove home, Jack couldn't help but smile. He knew that he would return to the mountains another day, ready to face new challenges and discover new adventures. Because in the end, it was the journey that mattered most, and he had enjoyed every step of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please don't forget to subscribe.
And like. Bye.